Welcome to week 12 of the Tim and Chuck Show, another special playoff edition.
Yep.
Now, I am Tim McDonough, joined by my esteemed colleague, Chuck Martinez-Brandon. We're here to break down the playoffs for you again. We're here to the regional semifinals this week, Chuck, and let me start out by asking you, how about the Green Meadows Conference?
Man, I'm telling you, the GMC's tearing it up. I told you earlier in the year, even the signs will hit you in the GMC.
You were all over it. Last year, GMC got shut out. This year, Tenora, Wayne Trace, and Hicksville opened the playoffs with wins.
All rolling. It's really shows how well the conference is moving and progressing. When you have three teams that get wins in week 11, they're all playing well.
Well, in Division 6, we've got Tenora and Wayne Trace 2, the rematch.
Yep.
Why don't we start there this week? They're heading over to Lima Stadium for that matchup. Break this one down, Chuck.
Yeah, you talk about going into it, everybody's like, oh man, I hope they play it close to home. But you also want them to play it on turf, too. I have flashbacks to Coach Inselman a few years ago when Patrick Henry played just a sloppy, messy, wet game down at Lima Bath. And I think it cost them a state title because they weren't playing that game on turf. So going to Lima Stadium and playing that, I think, is just going to make it that much more fun. And, even playing field for everybody.
Yeah, in the first matchup, the Tenora defense obviously stood up and stopped Wayne Trace, slowed them down, their lowest point total of the year. Can Wayne Trace get that offense going again against this defense?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think Coach Heilshorn, he put in a defense where he wouldn't rush a lot of guys. Sometimes he would rush one guy, sometimes three guys, and they would delay rush, and they would drop back, sort of make Spies try to pick a receiver with 11 guys back, and then they would send guys, and it sort of messed Spies and his timing and those routes up a little bit. But I think if Wayne Trace learned anything from that, I think it's that Spies is really going to have to pull the ball down and run if nobody's open. He's a good, big, strong athlete, and if he does that, it could be a game changer and totally change the momentum.
Well, I know that Brevin Renolette got a little nicked up last week, hearing he's going to play and he's ready to go. Would have been too bad if he would not have been able to play in this game.
Yeah, it totally changes the whole dynamic of that Tenora offense if he's not calling the signals there, because then chances are they have to take Dravis and put him back under center, which, he played a little bit earlier in the year, but that offense didn't start clicking until Renolette was under center and, like I said a few weeks ago, driving the bus. He just is making plays and gets that offense where they need to go.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great game. I think that place is going to be packed, and we know this because those two teams are playing each other. We'll be back for week 13.
Exactly. Somebody's got to win.
Well, let's stay in the GMC. Saturday night, Division 7 at Perrysburg, Hicksville, Arlington.
Oh, yeah.
Hicksville knocked off Macomb, which beat Arlington in the Blanchard Valley Conference. I mean, you can look at those kind of scores and those things, but I just think at this time of year, Hicksville's playing really well, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. That offense is revved up. Caleb Johns is running the ball tough. When he hits the hole, he hits it fast, and if he bounces outside, you're not going to catch him. So for Arlington, they're going to have to try to contain him. And for the Hicksville defense, those younger guys, those linebackers, guys like Carrickson and guys like Yoder, they're really going to have to bring it. Even though they're younger guys, man, they got to step up because Arlington's got a really good run game. Yeah,
and how about Johns last week? I mean, 4 long touchdown runs. I think they had 200 and some yards of offense, and almost 200 of them or so were on 4 big plays.
Yeah, exactly. He is a game breaker, and that's what you want your upperclassmen, your experienced guys to do. They've got to play. If you're a junior at this point in time, you're not a junior anymore. You've got to be playing like a senior. And if you're a senior, you've got to be playing like, an all-district, all-state player, especially in the playoffs. And that's what Johns is doing.
I know it's not the same kids, but Hicksville has some recent success making a Final Four that they can lean on when you get into games like this. And I think they're going to look back and say, hey, what did we do or what can we do to prepare to continue that?
Yeah, and the great thing about smaller schools like we have in our area, those kids know the kids that were on that Final Four team. Yeah. They're like, growing up, they probably wanted somebody's certain jersey number, so they looked up to those guys, and they have those expectations. Man, they did it. We want to do it. We want to be just like them. So that's it's really neat when you see younger kids then having their own success after their idols, guys that they idolize. Yeah.
Last but not least, Chuck, let's look over at Division 4. We got Bryan, ranked number 2 in the state last week, go to number 3. Genoa knocks them off. Turnaround this week. Number 4 ranked Caledonia River Valley, and if they happen to get past that, looking ahead, number 1 Kenton. Next week in the regional finals, you talk about 4 teams in the same region, all ranked the top 4 in the state. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, you don't. And if you're a big football guy and you like to see big time matchups. You always want to see 1 and 2 in like a state championship game, but regional championship game, that'll do.
Yeah. I don't really know a lot about Caledonia River Valley at this point. I know that last year Napoleon knocked them off in the Division III playoffs before they went on to beat Bryan. But Bryan is obviously playing very well right now, and they beat a very good Genoa team last week.
Yeah, they are. They're coming in rolling, and if I think memory serves me, River Valley undefeated for like the first time in 35 years or something crazy. First division title in 8 or 9 years, something like that. So they're coming in rolling too. I think Bryan's defense is really going to have to step up. River Valley's got a good run game. Their quarterback's a real athletic kid that really runs that offense and racks up the rushing yards. So, but that's nothing Bryan hasn't seen. You play in the NWAL, you play Wauseon, Liberty, Patrick Henry. You got to stop the run game. So Bryan, their defense is tested in that area.
And obviously they saw a big dose of that last week against Genoa. So that obviously will be good.
Exactly.
A good preparation for them in this game.
Yeah. So, if you're Bryan, you've got to think, we can stop the run. Now, for River Valley, can you stop Bryan's offense? I mean, that's going to be the key. Bryan's offense is their quarterback, Schindler kid is just a phenomenal athlete. He can burn you with his arm. He can burn you on the ground with his legs. And I think if he's on, I think Bryan's going to be clicking.
And I think one of the things that Coach Klein talked about with Schindler was when it gets to be crunch time, he elevates his game. And he did it again last week in winning drive late against Genoa. And he's done it throughout his career. I mean, Bryan has not just done it this year. How many games did they win in a row last year before they got knocked out by Napoleon? Just because he's under center and doing it.
Yeah, and that's, you see it on TV all the time. Big time players make big time plays in big time games, and that's exactly what he's been doing. That if you want to go to win a state title, he's going to have to keep doing it for a few more weeks.
Yeah, you get to this level. Obviously, there aren't any bad teams left in the playoffs. So, I would like to wish good luck to the area teams that are still left. And we lost a lot last week, but we saw some big time competition last week too, didn't we?
Oh yeah, the games you said, you hit the nail on the head, Timmy. There are no bad teams in the playoffs, especially this week. So hopefully the guys from our 6-county area can keep winning. And unfortunately, somebody's got to lose the Tenora Wayne Trace game. Yeah. But the positive is somebody's going to be moving on too.
Yeah. No awards this week again. We talked about unable to shoot the video, but as always, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Like we said, we'll be back for Week 13 regional finals. We will see you then. Hope you enjoy this week's show.